Phoebe Waller-Bridge really wants us to think she's beautiful. It's all about confidence, I guess.
You are horrifying to look at.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is yet another movie from Disney to attempt to assassinate an iconic character. This is getting really exhausting. I have a very special connection with Indiana Jones because the first movie I watched was The Last Crusade, and my dad and I bonded over that. He then showed me Raiders and Temple of Doom before we decided to rewatch The Last Crusade. Of course, I was anticipating Crystal Skull, which was a mess of a movie. Unsurprisingly, this movie somehow managed to be worse. There's almost nothing to enjoy about this movie. The only part that was somewhat enjoyable to me was the intro. Once we get past that point, it becomes yet another sequel to a popular franchise that just makes you feel miserable for the main character. This is a slight spoiler, but Indy is living on his own, going through a divorce with Marion, and dealing with the loss of his son during the war, which I find pretty weird because that negates the happy ending we got at the end of Crystal Skull. He meets his goddaughter who wants to go after this dial that he and her father lost many years ago. This is proof that they hate classic white male characters such as Indiana Jones and Han Solo. They seem to want to humiliate these characters as much as possible. Instead of keeping the happy ending of Crystal Skull, they want him to be broken and hopeless and depressed. He used to be a beloved professor. All of his students loved him. It was the highlight of their day. All this stuff. And now his students struggle to stay awake. Whereas before, they used to be very interested in everything he had to say. They heard stories about this man. Now no one really cares. Admittedly, about halfway through the movie, I began to check out. I don't understand why Disney and Lucasfilm insist on making films that are an hour or a half hour too long. It's incredible that an Indiana Jones movie can feel like a 4-hour film. At one point, I just wanted to give up on this movie. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a joke, but not in a good way, of course. She somehow managed to be more annoying than her character in Solo, which lost money. And speaking of which, this movie is also tracking to lose money. She's supposed to be this strong, independent woman that we're always told about, that Disney always wants to tell us about. They also seem to want to trick the audience into thinking that she's attractive. Somehow we're supposed to pretend she doesn't look like Voldemort post-transition, post-nose job. I guess some of the guys in the movie have just gotten out of prison because apparently she's the most attractive woman they've seen in years. It was nice to see Sala again, and I'm surprised to see him running around, given he's gotten pretty old as well. I also want to point out that bringing Harrison Ford back to play both young and old Indy is pretty strange, considering as young Indy, he has this old man walk and old man voice. Try watching the first 3 Indy films and then go straight into this, and you'll know exactly what I mean. I say that, but honestly, I can't recommend this film to anyone. If you love Indiana Jones, just skip this one. If you hated Crystal Skull, you're just going to be miserable watching this one. If you have never seen an Indiana Jones movie and you had no interest going into this, you're not going to have a good time. This movie is practically for no one. It's pretty impressive. But I suppose I should rate this. I would have to give this a 2 out of 10. If it weren't for my slight enjoyment of the intro scene, I would have given it a much harsher rating, if that's even possible. There really isn't anything to enjoy about this movie. Indiana Jones is supposed to be a fun treasure hunting movie where he fights Nazis and banters with the supporting cast. They gave us the Nazis and the banter, but somehow forgot the fun. They made sure to assassinate everyone's favorite treasure hunter on their way out the door, though. I recommend you all just skip this one. It's not fun at all. But if you stuck around this long, I appreciate you just hitting the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you'd like. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.